Hello, it's Rex Sumner here in beautiful Bali, and today I'm at Reptile Assi Tabanan in order to talk to you further about Bali's Big Six. Bali's Big Six are the venomous snakes of Bali that can actually kill you. And today I want to talk to you about the biggest of the Big Six, and that is the king cobra of Phaeophagus hanna, which is probably my personal favorite amongst these snakes. A little bit of history about Reptile Assi Tabanan. There was a very famous snake man in Indonesia called Eddie, who was from Bali, and Eddie founded actually Bali Reptile Rescue, and he was bitten 3 times by king cobras. And the first 2 times he got to hospital without a problem, but the 3rd time there was a delay getting him to hospital. He'd been holding the king cobra, he didn't have a glove in those days, and it was able to twist and get one fang into his thumb. 3rd time, same way. And there was a traffic jam on the way to hospital, and at hospital the doctor made a mistake and put the infuse on the same hand as he'd been bitten, which is not a good thing to do. And very sadly, Eddie died in the hospital. His younger brother, Ray, has started Reptile Assi Tabanan, and he is our host for us today. And Ray is equally as skilled with snakes as his brother Eddie, and here we have a king cobra. We control the cobra's progression of what it does by coming around. Its attention is focused on the black flag. That's how we control it. Oh, we are very feisty today, aren't we? Look how big this snake is. You begin to realize how dangerous they can be. It's not only the 17th most venomous snake in the world, but it's also the longest venomous snake. Notice I said venomous. It's the longest venomous snake. The world record was 7.91 meters, which was a snake caught in Malaysia and kept in London Zoo. Very sadly, at the outbreak of World War II, it was killed just in case German bombs opened the cage and it was able to escape. Here in Bali, we have some of the biggest king cobras in the world. I say the biggest because these snakes, we've seen one where we've measured the cast skin at over 6 meters. We haven't actually caught it. It's a huge snake. Why do they get so big? Because they eat the pythons. And there's an awful lot of pythons in Bali. And the pythons, the pythons are here. The reason there are so many here is why there are no feral cat population in Bali, which destroys the wildlife in most of Indonesia. But we don't have them here because the pythons eat them. And there's so many cats, we've had therefore so many pythons, but we don't have too many pythons because the cobras eat them. Its venom is a very powerful venom which goes directly into the brain when it affects it, and it caused You'll excuse me if I'm talking, because I have to pay quite a little bit of attention to what the snake is up to and what it's doing. So if I let go of this, it can go and attack Ray over here. Not that I'm too bothered about that, because Ray knows exactly what he's doing, and these are quite slow snakes. And the reason they are so dangerous is that they can deliver so much venom. You see the swelling at the side of the head here, just here. Those are the venom glands inside there. And it can deliver a very large volume of very dangerous venom. Nevertheless, there are less than 5 people a year worldwide that die from the bite of this snake. Compare that to the Russell's viper, which we also have in Indonesia, which kills 50,000 people per year. Although it's highly venomous and very dangerous, it's not really a threat to people. And the reason for that is it's one of the cleverest snakes there is, and it leaves people alone. It comes out in the daytime, it sees people and it stays well away from them. It doesn't hurt people because it doesn't get into contact with them. One of the things that we noticed is that in my time in Bali, I've been aware of 6 bites on people by these snakes, 4 of which resulted in death, including Ray's elder brother. Every single one of those people who were bitten was playing with the king cobra, giving it a reason to bite them, holding it. One person from Java said, "Oh, I know what to do," and took it out of a sack and promptly got bitten and died. There's also the famous case of Irma Bule, Bule was a dangdut singer in Jakarta. Dangdut is a very popular version of music and songs in Indonesia, and she would perform on stage, and she had performed on stage for 6 years with pythons, and then she performed for 2 years with cobras, including king cobras. And one time she was given a king cobra, assured it was okay, and she danced with it in her normal routine with the king cobra, but she trod on its tail, and the snake reacted understandably and bit her. And she carried on with the show even though she was being bitten. But after 45 minutes, she started to vomit blood. They took her to hospital, and she was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital. Very, very sad, just a few years ago. Indonesians will do crazy things with these snakes. You will see a lot of videos on TikToks of people holding and playing with these snakes. I strongly advise you not to try to copy them. It is possible to be very friendly with these snakes. But look at this. This one is not in a good mood. Most interesting times to be in Bali is September, October, because that's the mating season at the beginning of the rainy season. And we don't actually get to see the snakes mating, but what we do see is the males fighting. And the way they fight is they try to get up, see who can get higher, and use their weight to push the other one down to the ground without actually biting each other. Obviously the bigger snake will win every time, and will then succeed in mating. A male king cobra will have a range of over 40 kilometers across, and inside that range there will be a multitude of female king cobras who have a range of just a couple of kilometers across. The king cobra, as I said, is a very intelligent snake, and it's also unique in it is the only snake to actively build a nest, and it uses one of 3 species of the 60 species of bamboo in Bali, and uses its leaves to make a nest. What it will do is it will first make a place at the bottom where it lays its biggest and most viable eggs, and then it will make a smaller chamber above that with smaller, possibly infertile eggs. We do think that this is purely a thought, it's completely unproven, these are decoy eggs, because the female will stay on top of the eggs and guard them for 2 months, but she will leave a couple of days before the eggs hatch. We think this is because 2 months, no food, she's hungry, and it's to remove the temptation of eating her own babies as they hatch. And in this time, the monitor lizards can get in and eat the eggs. They can dig up the nest and get at the eggs. But if there's the decoy eggs on top, then the true ones at the bottom will survive. This is called the king cobra because it eats other snakes. Other snakes which eat other snakes are known as kings. However, there's another reason we can call it king cobra, because the king cobra is the true king of the jungle. Imagine if you're going along the path and all of a sudden something jerks up in front of you like this, and its height, if it's a big one, could be as high as 2 meters getting up like that. That's scary enough when it jumps up very quickly. However, what's a lot worse is it hisses. Now, the trachea of a king cobra has lots of small holes in it, and when the air of a hiss goes out of these holes, it whistles, and this reverberates in the lungs and comes out greatly enlarged. A very fearsome noise comes out, and it sounds more like a tiger growling than anything else. So can you imagine something like this pops up in front of you, and at the same time we get a noise like a tiger growling.
Yeah.
We use the flag to distract it. It attacks the flag rather than us. In 1939, a book was issued by Armand Dennis, a very famous photographer of animals, and he had it was called On Safari, and in there he talks about how he went to Burma, northern Burma, looking for a cult of snake worshippers. He was taken to a village where they actually had a priestess. She would go to the temple where they kept the king cobra, and she would dance in front of it, wearing a thick woolen skirt. And the cobra would strike at her skirt, and after striking, she would bend over and kiss it on the back of the head. And she'd do that 3 times as part of the worship ritual. I always, from a small child, having read this, wanted to emulate this. And with Ray, I managed to do that last year for the first time. I was going to do that again on this video. At Reptile Acetabulum with Ray, and you can see Ray is particularly good in handling these snakes. He doesn't let us get into any danger looking after things. We would like to support his charity as much as possible. He does a lot of work going around educating people about snakes, their conservation and how to look after them, and also what to do if you do get yourself into a bad situation. And in order to support him, it would be really good if anybody wants to, they can come and visit here, see the animals and the snakes, and help to support Ray with a donation. We do what we can to help him.